Welcome. My name is Professor Helen Payne, and I'm the founding editor-in-chief for the journal Body, Movement and Dance in Psychotherapy. This is an international peer-reviewed journal published by Taylor and Francis. Articles explore embodied relating in psychotherapy. It is the only scholarly journal wholly dedicated to the growing fields of body psychotherapy, somatic psychology, and dance movement psychotherapy. The importance of the role of the body and movement in manifesting expression, insight, and change, and in promoting recovery is increasingly being recognised in fields such as mental health, neuro and cognitive sciences, and psychology. The journal encourages broad and in-depth discussion of issues relating to research activities, theory, clinical practice, professional development, and personal reflections. This journal is essential reading for all body psychotherapists, somatic psychologists, dance movement psychotherapists, and creative arts therapists. It also provides important material for all mental and physical health professionals, such as psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists, counsellors, and other relevant health professionals. We are delighted to launch and fund the present series of interviews, showcasing international pioneers from the fields of body psychotherapy and dance movement psychotherapy. We are grateful for their time and their participation and value their contribution to disseminating history, theory, research and practice. Additional appreciations go to the interviewers, who also volunteered their time freely, and to the recording editors of the series, Jim O'Connell and Seb Syracuse. We hope you enjoy listening.
So, hello, Berit. This is, we meet again by Zoom. You are Berit Heir Bunkan. You're 93 years of age,
Yes.
a Norwegian physiotherapist, psychologist, and body psychotherapist.
Yes.
and in this interview, we hope to touch on various aspects of your life and work.
Yes.
So to inform other people. You told me that you grew up on a farm, which was later turned into a hospital.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Can you say a little bit about that?
Yes. The main building was very big on the farm. So when the war came, we had to move out to the servants' building, and it became a hospital for Norwegian soldiers during the big war.
Okay.
And unfortunately, then there were Norwegian soldiers in the hospital, but then the Germans came too close, and the Norwegian had to move out, and in came all the wounded soldiers from the German soldiers, and they filled up the building, and very much happened. So they were operating patients in our dining room, and my sister and I were standing outside looking at the operation, and we were not asked to go. So,
oh my goodness! So this was your childhood was then quite disrupted
I was
by the war.
10 years or something. I was very young.
Yeah.
So and then later on, when the building burnt down, the German built barracks. You know what the barrack is?
The barracks, yes.
Yeah. And in there they had the hospital. So this is now a very big hospital inside the city, which was very small when I was a girl.
But this is quite a traumatic childhood that you had
Yes.
with this 5 years of German occupation.
Yes, I still got some problem with my hearing. So there was a German doctor who looked into my ears.
Yeah.
And I had to pay him with 5 eggs. Yes.
Okay, so after the war, as Norway began to reconstruct itself, you started working as a physiotherapist.
Yes, I went to Oslo and educated as the only one place, and I am educated in Oslo. That's right.
Yes, and then you moved to England for a
Then
while.
I moved to. I got a job at a big hospital in the middle of Norway, and I work with polio patients. You know what that is?
Polio, yes,
Polymyelitis.
yes.
There were hundreds of them. So I worked for 1.5 years, and then I was exhausted. So I applied for a job in England. So I come to England both to learn and to have rest.
Okay. Um, and then you went back to Norway and started working with Adele Bülow-Hansen.
Yes, uh, a psychiatrist at the hospital in the middle of Norway. She said that I should uh, contact Bülow-Hansen and ask to be her student, and I had to wait in 2 years, and then I became her student.
And what was it like being a student of this very famous person?
Yes, it was the doctor had to decide everything. She couldn't decide anything, and she did what the doctor said. And yes, it was very old-fashioned. So in a way, she was very good, but she was teaching by treating us. So no theory. So she was treating us, and that did me a lot of good.
Oh, good.
Yes, I changed.
And that was where you also met Gerda Boyesen.
Yes, we were at Bülow-Hansen at the same time. So I went with her to her home and met her husband and two of her children. Not the boy, but the two
Two girls,
girls I met.
Ebba and Mona Lisa. Yeah.
Yes, and they
Yes.
are famous therapists now.
Yes. 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 And then you started to change. You became more interested in the psychology component.
Yes, I when I was at the hospital, I became a teacher for students who came to the hospital to learn, and and then I became a teacher for physiotherapists. So I was that for a while, and then I felt that I was for several years. Yes, I was, and then I felt that I needed more knowledge, and that it was too little just to have learned by being treated.
So you started a master's degree in psychology at the Oslo University.
Yes, it was not a master; it was a full degree. It's absolutely full,
Yeah.
and then yes, I did. I did that
And you did a thesis with this bodily examination.
of 300 men. Yes, only men with who
Who were
are afraid of cardiac heart diseases for these men,
yeah.
and one healthy group and two other groups. I don't remember very much about that, but
So at this stage you were working with Bülow-Hansen, you were also studying psychology, and you also
now
worked.
I had to have pension. I had to stop working for a while, so I borrowed money to be able to study psychology.
Uh-huh. And
Yes.
you were also working with Elsa Lindenberg, you told me.
Well, you can call it work, but Bülow-Hansen did not want that we associated with Elsa Lindberg because she was living with Reich without being married. So
Ollie.
Bülow-Hansen said you can't go there. but a friend of mine and I, we went anyway. And then I met Elsa Lindberg and her array of.
But that's obviously of interest also to the dance movement,
Yes,
psychotherapy.
that was absolutely what it was, dance, and something was not dance. We were lying on the floor and bending, lying on the tummy and bending the knee very, very slowly to feel how it was to have so slow movements. That's
Okay.
what's interesting.
She had trained with Elsa Gindler in Berlin originally.
Who did that?
Elsa Gindler. That
Yes,
was that very type of aware movement.
yes. But, yes, I don't know. I
Yeah.
know the name.
Okay.
Yes,
So then, with this interest in psychology and working as you started sort of developing a type of body psychotherapy. Can you say a little bit more about that?
yes. I couldn't say that everything was her things because I added something that was different. Well, I know that my earlier boss didn't like that. So, but I found that the time has changed, and the physiotherapist could do more, and then I was not a physiotherapist anymore. So I had added to my
And
knowledge.
this was different to Gerda Boysen's body psychotherapy and also Lillimore Johnson's
Yes,
psychotherapy.
Hillemor Jonsson, she was also at Bülow-Hansen at the same time as I. She was very difficult, very, very difficult, and she also came to the Rikshospitalet where I was working and tried to get a job there. But then she went to the leaders of the hospital and said that I had used something which I shouldn't use. And then they answered that everybody can do that. So she was, after what I mean, a little different.
But as you developed your work, it
Yes,
began to be recognized as something quite significant, and you got an award from the King of Norway.
what did I get?
An award.
Yes, from the king. Yes, yes, I knighted by the
Right.
King of Norway. So I had to go to him and say thank you.
And this was the Royal Norwegian Order of
Yeah,
St. Olav.
yes, that's right.
And this was for your distinguished services for Norway and mankind.
I
That's
think
quite
so. I think
that's
so.
quite an honor.
I had also been a lot in Sweden, teaching about the body for people, dentists and things, people who would like to be hypnotists. But I didn't do the hypnosis. I did the body, and that was very popular. So I went several years to Sweden to teach body for people who's going to be dentists and things like that. Yes, so that I knew a little bit about the body too, when they're going to be hypnotized people. But this has died out in Sweden. It didn't succeed. But I
When
learned a lot.
when I first met you, Berit, that was at one of the conferences of the European Association of Body Psychotherapy, and you had been teaching body psychotherapy in many different countries, and still continue to do so.
16 countries, 17 in Norway. So I have been not always very long sometimes, but in some places I have had courses. Most places I have had courses.
And you were beginning to label your work as psychomotor body psychotherapy or something like
Yes,
this.
because I did something that Bülow-Hansen would not do.
Yes.
Yes. So I have added it, but her ways are the main. So the main she's the main founder of it.
All right. So can we just concentrate a little bit on the difference between what Bülow-Hansen was doing, which was physiotherapy,
Mhm.
with Trygve Braatøy, and then what you started doing. Can you just bridge that gap for us?
Yes, I speak to the patients. And what is troubling you? I speak, and what does that mean for you? How do you live with your trouble? And things like that. So Bülow never asked us questions like that. But I ask, and I teach my students to ask, but not to press, not to press out. So if they answer, it's good, but if they don't, they can't press it. But open up for communication on the level of psychology,
Mhm. So,
because
so
I think so at the feelings are in the body.
yes, of course.
and and it's not and I'm sorry for the psychologists because they have no body. So I think all the psychologists should learn about the body, and then um, then the therapy would be better if they could
And
do something to the body too.
all physiotherapists ought to learn about emotions.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
yeah. So as you developed this work and as you started, um, you told me that one of the things that you had developed was this comprehensive body examination.
Yes, that's right. That
Can
was
you-
my thesis.
Yeah.
Yes, where I was invited by the University of Oslo to come and do something with my treatment, and try to have what do you call it, and try to I don't know what I should call it, but to have a doctor degree. So I was invited by a colleague who was at this department in psychiatry at the big Ullevål sykehus. It's the next biggest we have. And then I become a student, and the doctors, they become very fascinated by the treatment. And my boss had a brother in the main doctor had a brother in USA, and they were speaking together sometimes what to do with me, and and uh, and at last I disputed and became a doctor. Yes, doctor in philosophy. So that's what happened to me. So I didn't choose. I was invited, actually.
Mhm. So this body examination,
Yes,
that is how you see the person and how you examine the person
that's right.
and see how they hold themselves,
That's right.
and then how do you start working with them?
I said, "How are you today? How do you feel?" I look at the body, and I
Yes.
tell you what I see, and I
Yeah.
do.
So
But I
you
don't.
feed back to them what you see.
They only have underwears, and I say what I see, and I can see that you have a very rounded back all the way down to your pelvis. What do you feel? What do you feel in your back? Yes, I have a lot of pain. I have always pain in my back. I met this man yesterday, actually.
And how do you then work with that person?
I worked with his posture to raise up, but he had a very difficult background with parents and things. Yes, it's very hard to say, but he got a lot of smashes. You know what that is? Yeah, and the parents were quarreling, and he and his brother had to hide under the beds. So he had a terrible background, and
so in working with him and encouraging him to straighten his back, all this material comes out.
I didn't say stretch your back. Let it be stretched. Feel that you are tall and beautiful.
Yes.
And that you don't have to hide under the bed. Just feel. And then I did strengthen his back, and I did very much to his sacrum and pelvis, everything. So, and also to his abdomen, so that he was able to stretch. So he is much straighter, and I have known him for 10, 15 years, and his back became better, and then he stopped coming. So I don't know why. So then, but I've seen him again now. So, when he has such a brutal childhood, and he hides.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's not done in 5 seconds to straighten this body.
No.
But we had to see that the stretch comes from within, that he's safe, that it's possible for him to work and to work with other people.
So
So
you're
he
encouraging.
works with other people now.
So you're encouraging a sort of inner expansion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It must come. He must not stretch, because then he's quarreling with himself, because the back is like that. So it has come to flourish from within, with his
Yes.
life, and whatever happens to him.
And you are supporting this with your hands at times?
Yes,
Some of it hands-on?
yes, I have a lot hands-on. All massage, for instance, are hands-on, and I put my hands where as I notice where I have my hands. What do you feel there? And things like that. And then maybe maybe he say, oh, it reminds me of. My father was very bad.
Oh, okay. So then the memories start to come out.
Yeah. But I had a woman who couldn't remember anything from her childhood, and then suddenly she could.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the memories are like locked into the body. And
memories it's in the body.
yeah.
That's what I would say.
And
It,
as the body changes, so the
it comes.
memories
Yeah,
come to the surface.
that's why I say that psychologists to learn about the body. Yeah.
Aha. Yeah. Looking back at your life and work, Berit, what would you see? How do you see the changes in society? You know, you have been working for 70 years or something, and in society, how do you see the changes of modern society, particularly in Norway, as compared with
That,
childhood?
yes, there's not such a difference between people as it used to be. So we get more even if we have some very rich people in this country too. But people are more even, and yes, I would say that. So it's a better life for people than it used to be, if nothing more serious happened to us up in the north. Yes.
And what about all the developments of technology and everything? how do you see us as bodies coping with that?
Too much technology. It's too much sitting, too much writing, too much looking at each other like that. It's pacifying in the body.
Yes.
So everybody should do a bit of either out in the nature and do skiing and do running and cycling and whatever and walking. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I
And
think we
are
should
you
do that
still
because
are you still fairly active?
not very. But I walk, and if I could dance with somebody, I would do that. But I had a party the other week, and
Yeah.
lots of mingle young and old people. And then I said, and then now comes the free dance. Everybody dances alone, and we did. And there was an old man. He was an author, and he came he came near me and was doing a lot of dancing, free dancing, we called it. So it was very popular.
Yeah. Berit, you've told me that you have some little stories about your experiences with Olav and also with the organ energy accumulator.
That oh, that was very nice. Uh, there was a new children's clinic being built, and it was not opened, and we borrowed it, the whole clinic. And I invited Ola Raknes to come and to see we did dancing and things on the lawn. And then he was sitting under a tree smiling. And then I asked him about his therapy. And then he said, "Yes, I can show the massage on a person who wants to come up to me." Nobody did, but I did. And then came his big hands, soft hands, up to my head, and did a massage outside. Yeah, I did, and it was wonderful. But the thing is that I have learned that you uh, must have the skin to move when you do that. And he was outside, but still it was very it was very nice, and he was nice. He was a nice man. So
Yes.
you know that Gerda Bøyesen came to his clinic in London, and
Yes.
she founded it when he was too old. And
That's
he was a
that's
nice man.
that's when Gerda Bøyesen took over his work in London in the early 1970s, and she started working in London and then developed her type of body
Yes,
psychotherapy.
right. And this year, I am trying to arrange a summer university at the OsloMet, and I have borrowed a whole clinic and and lots of other things, auditorium, and I going to publish it to see that people can come to Norway and hear about Reich and hear about psychomotor physiotherapy and whatever. And also, we shall have a short blink of yoga for for sick people and yoga for healthy people, and about the chakras, because I know a person who's very good at these things, and then we put all in this uh, this thing, and then we have a lot about Reich there, and my friend who is a doctor at Nick Wall was a friend of Reich, and he should have been here today, but he couldn't come. And yes, so there will be a lot of, and he loves Reich, and has just been in Mexico teaching Reich with I can't remember the name of the other
So
therapy.
this is a sort of continuation of what Michael Heller called the golden age of body psychotherapy in Norway.
Yes, that's right. So we try to do, and we have no money yet, but we have to try to get some money. And if I get some money somewhere, I invite you and Michael Heller here. But I should not have said it because I can't see where I should get some money.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. But it sounds fascinating.
I should love to, but we must have money. We have no money. When we try to do this anyway, so people have to teach without getting some money for it, but we try to do it anyway. So I have localization and I have everything. So
Wonderful, wonderful. You also told me a little bit about your experience with the orgone energy accumulator, which was the
yeah,
orgone box that Reich
using
developed.
this one in this. Yes, I when I had cancer, I used to go every day to a hospital very close and sit in the accumulator. And but I was tired afterward and had to rest.
Mhm.
And one day, when I was sitting in the cupboard, or what you call it, accumulator, I felt that I was being lifted, lifted every day, and I had to open the door to see if I was mad, but I wasn't. And
You said this was like levitation. Some
yes, you said, but it was a levitation. And when I was in Germany and listened to all this congregation of important people, I asked what that could be, and they said levitation.
aha.
They said levitation, and I asked an old man who's jumped off from being a doctor to being a healer, and he said he had something to do with me. So I don't know. So I have been I have been in the cupboard again, and I don't feel anything. But I am this what I'm going to have in the autumn, eller in August. I have borrowed the levitation. I have borrowed this accumulator, orgon accumulator.
Yes.
So I will have at least two. People can try it themselves.
And did you also told me that you'd had a couple of little brushes with cancer. So did you use the orgone accumulator to help with your cancer treatment?
But I have just a little pill for the cancer and have not had cancer. But I had accident, but that has nothing with each other to do.
And you found it helped with the healing?
I've been operated upon everything this year. So
And my question is, do you use the orgone accumulator to help with your own healing?
I did.
You
I
did.
did. But you see, my department has been closed during so I couldn't get the things I had on the PC down there either. So that has done some different difficulties to my book. So I was,
So yes,
it
let's
was
come a little bit now to your book.
yeah,
You're in the process of writing a book.
yes, I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
What do you think about it?
Well,
It
I'm
has
interested in you talking about your book.
yes. Yes, I should. I can say what I should. I should have spoken more about feelings in the book, but I speak more about the body therapy you do and how you do it and why you do it and what you are going to achieve by doing it. So I have not the weakness with my books. It from my point of view is I should have used more time telling about the feelings.
Yes.
Or
Well,
but
we
some
maybe we can work that in a little bit because I'm working with you on this book.
Yes.
and we can probably sort of help shift the emphasis a little bit more.
Yes, I'm absolutely. But the thing is, what we have not spoken about that is that uh, the examination on which I have disputed, they contain nothing new. That's the thing I do in the in the in the therapy. Everything is everything in the examination is from the therapy. So there's nothing new of doing things in the therapy, for because it is grounded in the therapy. So well, we'll sleep upon it.
Berit, one part of your work that you wanted to speak about was getting more physiotherapy and psychology into education.
Yes, physiotherapy is on the body. There's no. I don't think they have any psychology, and I say that body and mind is one thing, and so I wanted to have more psychology into the teaching, and yes,
And you work quite hard to get this change in the education.
yes, I try to, and actually I try to get it in, and I try to have the psychomotor therapy being a further education in physiotherapy. So I I tried for 7 years to get it in, but I couldn't get it in. And then suddenly someone said, "Why don't you ask the doctors for recommendation? They see that the patients are better when they get this therapy." And then I did it. And when the doctors came and told about the usefulness of the psychomotor physiotherapy, it came in. It came
Wonderful.
in, and it was a year education after having become the physiotherapy examination, an extra year. And I thought maybe it's a little bit more now. And yes, so
So that's now firmly part of the education of physiotherapists, this
there's,
psychological
there's
component.
not, do have to be physiotherapy education before you come into this study, and it takes a year.
So it's an additional component now.
Yes, an additional year.
Wow,
Yes, yes, you
it's
can say
amazing.
that. Yes, but it's difficult. You have to understand, and you have to be able to speak to people. And those who cannot speak to people, they don't succeed with the patients.
Okay.
Uh,
So
had a student. She was stiff, and she had too little psychomotor therapy herself. And she said, "I have done what I should, but that doesn't happen." So I said, "Maybe you should have a little bit more therapy yourself." And she was angry with me. But the thing is, one has to work with oneself. You know that,
yes.
yes. And becoming a psychomotor physiotherapist, you have to work with yourself. But I think still too little.
Right. So the principles that you use in your therapy, just to conclude, the principles that you use in your therapy are like building the body up and treating the whole body.
But you can't treat the body without treating the internal life, without having psychotherapy at the same time.
Right.
Because
So
this is
that's the interface between
yeah,
physiotherapy and psychotherapy.
yeah. And that's the difference from Bülow-Hansen. She didn't do that. She couldn't say anything. She had to go to the doctor. But you can't treat the body, because the body are you, and the body is your feeling. It's everything. So it goes together, and that's my message in the book. But maybe I should have been clearer.
No, I think that sounds very clear.
You agree to me?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You know, this is. I'm also a body psychotherapist,
Yeah,
so
you are. Yes, you are.
this
So
is why we can work together.
yes. Well, so
Okay, so I think this is possibly a good place to end. And if there's anything more that you would like to say, Berit, this is probably the time to say it.
well, I had to say thank you to everybody, because I am become famous, and who should think that? So I didn't think about it at all, and I have to say thank you to you all, and thank you to all the countries who invited me. So I am very happy about that, and I learned a lot when I've been abroad to teach. So I'm so happy about that.
Good,
Yes.
good. Well, we're very happy too.
Thank you very much, and you have been very good to me.
Thank you, Berit, and I think we can finish here.